Yes, I think we are live.
Cool.
So, hello everyone, and welcome to this stream and this super awesome stream where we will learn today building a smart mirror and all about it, all the theory and the practical around it. And today, with me, I have a very special guest, Destiny, and she's a computer science major from California, a tech savvy girl who likes to learn about technology. Currently, working as a DevOps engineer and I mean, yeah, she's super awesome in learning new stuff and building new things. And that's why we have her on the show to make you learn, or I'll also learn, obviously, about smart mirrors. What are they? What do you want to need? What do you want all the equipments needed and how to build that? So we'll try to put together everything in one single video so that when you watch, so you have the complete knowledge of building a smart mirror from scratch. So we'll get started, or maybe we'll give a couple of minutes for people to join. In the meanwhile, if you want, Destiny, you can just talk about anything.
Okay. um, so for I just graduated recently, and so one of the classes I was taking was advanced cybersecurity, and my professor's focus was on smart devices and how they're super insecure. So for our labs, we had to use a Raspberry Pi to kind of play around with like simulating smart devices. And so we had the Raspberry Pi for the whole semester. And so I kind of wanted to see what we could do with the Raspberry Pi. And so that's kind of when I saw that people were building smart mirrors or building like microwaves I've seen and building other things with the Raspberry Pi. So I kind of wanted to do something like that myself. Um, and yeah, that's kind of where this mirror project came about. Mm, I can turn it on for right now.
Yep, sure.
Okay, so I have it sitting behind me. It's off right now, but yay. Okay, so I have it set up as a headless pie, so I can do it from this computer. But I probably should have shared my screen, but it's all right. We'll do it later. Okay.
So,
Well,
Destiny, what were the research and the findings that you did, when you thought about this building a smart mirror, and how when this thought came to your mind, like I have to build a smart mirror.
it came to my mind when we had to do final presentations for my cybersecurity class that I was talking about. It's on, but my lighting in here is bad, by the way. But that someone had built a really really tiny smart mirror, and I don't know what they used for the like monitor, but they had built one, and I was like, oh my gosh, what the heck, I want to do that, I want to try that. So I watched a couple of videos, or like I kept doing research on like smart mirrors until I found like the magic mirror code and things like that. And so I watched other videos of how people did it. So I just kind of I bought all the material with my credit card because I hadn't used it and I needed to start it like earning credit, I guess. So I bought all the materials and then they all shipped like during finals week. And I wanted to build the mirror after finals so I can have something to do when there's no more school. But there was just a weekend where I was so tired of studying. I just didn't want to do it anymore. And all of my stuff came and it was just sitting in my living room. I had the mirror, I had the monitor, I had the Raspberry Pi, I had the HDMI cables, and then I had like LED lights. I had all of this. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to build it. And it was like 10 o'clock at night when I started. And I think I ended up finishing around 3 a.m. But it was a mixture of me getting distracted, a mixture of me kind of like getting stuck at some parts. But yeah.
So what are the equipments like from a beginner's perspective if they have this good thought of building a magic mirror, smart mirror, whatever you call it?
Mhm.
So what are the equipments, all the equipments that a person would need?
Um, Number one is totally going to be the Pi. I just have the box for it right now because I'm using the Pi, but that's pretty much the computer that's going to hold like the everything. It's the computer, and then I got an SD card because you need to go to the Raspberry Pi website to download the operating system, and then you use the SD card to upload the operating system on the Pi. And so the other big part is the two-way glass. So you can kind of see it's like see-through. And so that is pretty much used to give the illusion of it being a mirror. And right behind it, I have a really thin monitor. I got mine from Skeptor just because when I was looking up like cheap monitors online, they came up. Uh, I think those are just the main essentials. So HDMI wires and a USB-C are also important, but the main ones is the Pi itself, SD card, two-way mirror, and monitor. I
Okay,
guess,
so Raspberry Pi or and a two-way glass, a monitor, HDMI cable, and that's pretty much it. That and the micro SD card for uh,
yeah,
having the Raspberry in OS, or you are booting with Raspberry in OS.
yes,
Okay, for the Raspberry in OS, so that you have all the things set up. So there is a link that Destiny shared with me. Maybe I think that covers pretty much everything. I'll post that.
oh yeah,
Yeah, so this is the link that I posted in the chat. It has all the things that Destiny just talked about: a two-way glass, monitor, micro HDMI, Raspberry Pi 4, USB Type C, and yeah, if you want to take things next level, Amazon Alexa.
yeah. I wanted to do that, but I haven't bought an Amazon Alexa yet.
Yeah, maybe the next version of your smart mirror V2 comes with
Yeah,
power.
I have a friend who they want me to build one for them, so hopefully I can just make it better that second time doing it.
So, how much time overall it took, and how much effort it required, apart from ordering all the things?
So I think that so 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. So it was about 6 hours it took me, but it took me really long because I was distracted, and then there were some parts where I would kind of get stuck. Some of the videos I watched were more towards like 2014, 2015, 2016. So a lot of software and a lot of different stuff changed since then. So I kind of had to figure out, just figure my way out around things. So like adding modules. So like I wish you could see it, but my light in here sucks really bad. But right here I have like my horoscope. I have the Pokemon and the weather, time, Spotify. They took me really long because the documentation was a little different versus what the actual folders look like. So installing modules took me a second to figure out like what folder to put it in, how to install it, and things like that. And so for Spotify, you have to create a dev account and like get API keys and like all of this just for it to work. So that took kind of long to kind of walk around that.
Yeah, I think that's what would make this stream more interesting because, like Destiny told, things are out there and different PCs are out there. Putting them together is the real effort. And I also watched some of the smart mirrors just before the stream, and they were like, you don't either have a complete list of equipments, or you don't either have the exact things that she told, like you have to move certain things in certain folders to bring up on the smart mirror. So all these things are really small details where you might end up spending more time. So that's where we will have a good thing be telling about. I mean, Destiny will be telling about all the things. So, and any challenges, specific challenges that you faced, Destiny, while building?
I think the two biggest challenges was that um, so I was trying to follow a lot of the steps like verbatim. So what they were saying, I was just going for it. But like I said, that some of them were outdated. So like for example, there was one video that when they were talking about downloading the Raspberry OS or Raspbian OS, they were using like another tool. I forgot what it was called, but a lot of that isn't a thing anymore. So now Raspberry Pi has its own app. Let me see what it's called real quick. The Raspberry Pi Imager. And so you just choose your OS and then you'll download it to the SD card. So you don't really download the soft or the. I didn't download the software from. I'm lying. I did. Did I? One second. Oh yeah. So I didn't have to download it because it's in the Raspberry Pi Imager that I got from the Raspberry Pi website. And so one second. Let me see what that app was called. Just in case you hear it, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
They called it Balena Etcher, which was supposed to download the OS to the SD card. So I didn't have to use that. And
Okay.
so I had got stuck there for a second because I was trying to figure out how to use Balena Etcher, and then I realized I didn't have to use it. And so the documentation for the modules would say, oh, just copy and paste this git clone link, do cd, and then it should just work like that or some. I forgot the steps. I have to pull those up too. But that was kind of not that true because there's a folder that like has the default modules already in that folder. And then there's a flag somewhere else that says like just use the default modules. So I had to look for that default folder, and I just started adding modules to the default one because I couldn't get that flag to work. But those steps were also kind of weird.
Nice. There's a very interesting question from one of the people who have joined. What about the touch screen? So when we call it, smart devices, because I actually named it smart mirror, but you can call it magic mirror or whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, when people think or hear about smart things, they always think like I can touch and I can do things. So what are
Mhm.
your takes on that? I mean, is that a next level thing, or there are different set of equipments that would be required for making it a touch screen mirror, or how much? I mean, obviously, it will require a whole new kind of setup and effort required.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's pretty interesting. I wanted to hear your opinion on this.
So I was looking into touchscreen for a while, but I found the infrared frame on Amazon. But one, they're really expensive, and two, I didn't find an infrared frame that was the size of the mirror I had. I only saw them like a lot bigger or like square sized, so I couldn't really. I didn't buy it because I couldn't afford it, and then also because it was too big and it didn't fit my mirror. But I do want to try doing the touchscreen someday. That'd be really cool. I saw one video where someone actually did use touchscreen, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, right now as well. What from the tweet that you have posted, I'll paste the link to that probably so that people have an idea how it is looking, because right now the lighting is they're not able to see that. So this is the tweet, and you can just check it where Destiny has posted how the smart mirror actually looks. Yeah, and in this you can see there are a lot of things, whatever she told, like the horoscope and all the weather and the date and all these things. So yeah, Destiny, I think I have my few of the questions answered, and so I'll leave it to you now. For let's show us how it is built, and what are the things you have used, and how people can make a smart mirror. And in the meanwhile, audience, if you have any questions, just shoot in chat, and we'll be happy to answer.
Okay,
Destiny will be happy to answer actually.
let me share my screen because
Sure.
I'm really bad at words and I'd rather point. But so the first thing, like first things first, I guess, would be to let me get my SD card. So this is the one I use, SanDisk, because it's really convenient because it has the adapter to it. Because this is the one that will go into your regular computer, and this is the one that goes into the Pi, the micro SD. Um, some computers don't have a SD card reader, so this Anchor um, USB, there's a SD chip in here. Sorry, my camera's backwards. That you could use this instead to plug into your computer, and you can use this app that Raspberry Pi offers, the Imager. So you choose your OS, and so there's a lot to choose from, but honestly, just go with a 32-bit Raspberry Pi operating system, and you'll choose your SD card. I don't have it plugged in, but when you do, it'll pop up on the screen. You click it, and then you will just write. So then it's going to download the operating system to the Raspberry Pi. Then you'll get your Pi. Oh, I can grab the Pi actually. I'll just unplug it. So this isn't necessary, but I got a case for it just because I'm really clumsy and I didn't want to break it. But in here is the Pi. And so I put my SD card wherever the SD card slot is at. But I put it in there, and then I plugged it into a monitor, and I used a micro HDMI wire. 1 second. You can just buy these at Best Buy. So this part is for the Pi because Pi is really tiny. And so that's how I got to see it on the screen, on the monitor. And so this part, it requires a keyboard and a mouse because you'd want to download the Magic Mirror software because that's basically what's running it. And so the Magic Mirror software I got from here. And so it is very easy to install.
Yeah.
That I
Can
think
you zoom in? Can you make it full screen and zoom in a bit so that it's properly visible?
so. The steps here, you can literally follow these verbatim. Like I didn't do anything different. Um, I did the curl, sudo. I just copied and pasted these into the terminal that comes up on the Pi. So kind of like looking like that. And so once you have all of this, this actually just starts it. It just starts the magic mirror on the screen. And so the rest of it was building a frame for the mirror and the monitor to sit together and hide all the wires, but I never did that part. But that's actually just the overall of it. But let's say you wanted to install more modules. That's kind of when it gets a little bit more like intensive, I guess. I'll just click on that, I guess.
Yeah. So till now, so there's a question as well, like two questions actually. How was the learning curve, and how do for the using and setting up a Raspberry Pi? And same one, like I have never used it before, but I really want to in the future.
Um, hmm. If you're not, I think that the learning curve isn't that bad if you're familiar with like the coding environment itself. Because on startup, the Raspberry Pi looks like it just looks like a computer. It looks like a regular computer, and you can just click on the internet browser, click on settings, click on terminal. So it's not, it doesn't look foreign, but if you're not that used to like using a terminal, then following the steps might feel weird. So you might not understand what you're doing. So if you don't understand what you're doing and you want to install modules, it might be kind of tricky. But depending on your familiarity with programming itself, it's not too bad.
And just to add on that, I would say that there are various options when you try to purchase a Raspberry Pi. So there is a Raspberry Pi box, and you can buy the mouse and the keyboard as a separate, or there's a Raspberry Pi kit. Now, the special thing about the kit is the SD card that you get is preloaded with Raspberry OS. So what you just have to do is you just have to take the Raspberry Pi, plug in the SD card that you get with preloaded Raspberry OS, and then just plug it in a desktop, and then you will get a simple OS screen. Now, this particular operating system will be Raspberry operating system, and it has same the terminal, the browser, and all that. You connect to the network and the terminal, and then you're all set. So basically, you are set to connect to the internet, and you can do a git clone and all that magic mirror. The curl, installing the software, then doing the git clone of the repository and that. And I think that if you are extremely, I mean, totally noob, and you don't want to go to the phase, I also the phase is very easy of installing Raspberry Pi on the micro SD card, like Destiny has just shown. But even if you want to skip that step, then probably you can buy the kit with preloaded Raspberry and OS.
That's a good one. That's true. I forgot about the kit. They sell
Yeah.
it at Best Buy.
Let's go to the modules now. So we have now installed Magic Mirror software. So we have our last Raspberry Pi preloaded with the Raspberry Pi loaded or preloaded, whatever you try to choose with the Raspberry OS. And now we have installed the Magic Mirror software. Now we are trying to shape up our mirror, and we will install some of the modules as now Destiny will be telling how.
Hmm. I'll just add a random one, I guess, just to kind of walk through my process of how I added modules. But I'll do the joke API just because I that sounds cute. So I have my Pi set up headless, like I said already, so I can do it from here. Oh, I'm not in the terminal. Maybe I am. Control C is not working. Oh my gosh, you know why?
You unplugged your Raspberry Pi.
I did. I unplugged my Pi.
You have to plug it again.
I was being scared and embarrassed for a second. I was like, I swear it was working a second ago. Uh, Once you do kind of have, like if you go to settings and you set up a password for your Pi, I think setting up the headless is really, really, really helpful. I think it's really helpful. And headless is just kind of like logging into your Pi remotely. So I think
Yeah,
it's
how you can do that? I mean, if you can give a brief about that as well.
yeah. Okay, totally. Sorry. So if you go to your settings on the Raspberry Pi, um, the first page would say like, oh, set password or what is the root username, and so username I think is always Raspberry Pi. So I didn't really change it because I didn't need to, but I did add a password. And so on one of the tabs, you can enable SSH. And so I clicked enable, so I can sit at any computer I want to, as long as I'm on the same network. So I can't be at someone else's house and try to SSH from here, I think. But on the Pi, if you type hostname dash I, it'll show you the IP address that your Pi has. So then it makes it easier for you to say, like for me, it's SSH Pi at 10.0.0.144. Um, I guess give it a second. I think it is on. I don't know.
Yeah, it's okay. It can
Yeah.
take minutes. It's okay. So basically, what Destiny just told, I would rephrase it in my words. So you have, but basically what we are trying to do here is, yeah, it's on. So it's asking for a password.
Oh,
So what what it's done over here is you don't need to sit, just beside the Raspberry Pi and connect it to a desktop to just work on it. You can do a SSH just like you do on the cloud boxes or cloud VMs, and do a SSH and type the password. You can do it. Yes, you have to be on the same network, so that it's reachable over the network. So as till the time it is reachable over the network, you can do the SSH to the Raspberry Pi just like it is done on the screen right now. Can you increase? I mean, can you do the full screen so that it's visible?
Yes.
Yeah,
Um,
and increase the font size as well,
yeah, sorry. Is that better?
a little more. Yeah, perfect.
Cool. So if I go back, um, as soon as I opened up, it just or as soon as I logged in or SSH, it opened up into the terminal. So I'm going to go to the Magic Mirror folder. This folder is created once you do all the steps that are listed on the Magic Mirror install. And so there's a folder called, it might be modules, but there was also a second one. We'll just go to modules for now. Oh, I remember what's going on. Okay. I remember now. Okay, cool. So I'm going to make this small real quick so I can follow these steps. Here.
So
Log
we
in.
are installing a new module after we set up Magic Mirror, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I do a git clone so I can grab all the code from this URI. Cool. So when I ls, I should have the triple M joke API here. And so I'm going to move that folder into my modules folder. I'm not sure how familiar everyone is with like bash commands and stuff like that, but mv means move. So I'm moving this file, joke API, to the modules folder. Cool. So if I ls, which means list, it's not shown in this directory anymore. So now I can go to modules and it's here. So now I'm going to move this into default because the steps would tell you that it would just go into the modules folder and it should work that way, but I never got it to work that way. And so it says clone into your modules folder, which I did it wrong, but move still works. But yeah, so that's kind of what I'm showing is that I'm going to move it into the default folder because the default runs, it just does. Okay, so I'm going to default. And so I have joke API here. So now I can go to my config, which is everything that the mirror represents, I guess. Oops, they don't like that. Config.js. Oh, it's a file. Vim. Okay. So in here, under the modules array, is where I will copy and paste this. And I will add it. It doesn't really matter where I add it, but I kind of want it in alphabetical order. Oh, no, I don't. It's okay. Oops. Okay, cool. So I have it in the config file now. I kind of got lost in my mind, so I didn't really show how I got there. But so right here in the Magic Mirror, there's a config folder. And so I went to config, and then there's the config.js file, which is where they have all of the modules on the mirror. And so the modules are written as a JSON. Please. Cool. So you can put the position and you can put the header and I left the position as just middle center because that's where it was defaulted. So when I run it on here, it should just show up. But yeah, I'm going to
So
try.
you need after the change in the config, you need any restart, or it should automatically pick up.
Um. Oh yeah. So right now I don't have the mirror running, and I'm
Oh,
not sure if I could do it while the mirror was running because when you run the npm run start, which is the command to start the mirror, it kind of has the code running forever right here. Oh no, what happened? Okay, that's my fault. Um, I've been running into this problem a lot lately where my HDMI wire doesn't work.
oh,
So I think that that display zero was just telling me it's not displaying anywhere.
hmm,
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
it's okay.
Okay, but basically that's how I install modules. So figuring that out took me a while, but it's actually not too bad. It's just that this step had got me stumped for a while because I would be like, okay, I can physically see that this module is in my modules folder, but why is it not coming on screen? And also in the config file, that's where I saw the flag, I think, where let's see, or maybe I didn't. Mm, I can't remember where I saw it, but basically on run, it was pulling from the modules folder, but pulling from default. And I didn't know how to switch it to where it would pull from default and another folder. So that's why I moved the modules into the default folder.
Okay, makes sense. So this particular file, any additional changes you have done, or it's the default one, and you just have added the modules.
I just have added the modules. So a lot of this, I guess, is just to run on your local computer, so your local server. Um, and the only thing I've actually changed was like moving things from top left to bottom right. So that's all I've really changed in this file.
Only the positioning of the modules.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. So, folks, what we have done right now is we have the Raspberry Pis, we have the equipments, we have Raspberry Pi, we have the two-way mirror and the monitor, and we place the two-way mirror in front of the monitor, and we connect the desktop, which is very thin, to the Raspberry Pi, and we plug in the OS and we enable the SSH from the terminal. Now we have downloaded the Magic Mirror software, and after downloading the software there are modules that you can load. Now while using and downloading the modules, you can put it in the default folder, or you can find a way where you can put multiple folders to pick it up the config from the modules from, and then you need to update the config file, so which is in the config folder, and you can just keep on adding the modules with the position of where they should appear on the screen and thus on the Magic Mirror. And then probably you give a npm start for, yeah, starting the Magic Mirror software, which eventually will be visible when you are standing or sitting in front of the mirror. I summarized it right,
Yeah, you
correct?
did. You did. Yeah. I was listening to it the whole time. Thank you. I suck at words. I'm not sure how to get my thoughts out there sometimes.
Yeah, it's fine. We have to get things done. That is more important. So
Yeah. I'm getting really sad that it doesn't work right now.
Yeah. But what this error is only because of the what you call the HDMI cable, right? And
Yeah,
not.
it's only me because
Okay.
the other day this happened, and so I was getting really sad because I didn't want to do this. Oh wait, what the? It says npm start does not work by SSH. I don't think that's true because I did it a second ago.
Hmm.
But basically, this happened the other day that my HDMI wire wasn't working, so I had to buy a new one, and then it still wasn't working. But then when I plug it into this monitor that I have sitting right here, it worked. So it might be this monitor back here that's causing me problems, but I don't know. All I know is that it's very sad. It's a sad day in HDMI world. Give me 2 more minutes. I'm gonna unplug it.
But what if you try this one, whatever is mentioned, like display zero, no hop, npm start? Does would that help or
Okay, let me try it.
yeah, maybe.
It might be working, but let's see.
Are you seeing something or
Hmm?
are you seeing something or it's not
Oh
visible for you?
no, I'm not seeing anything. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know why it's doing that. I wonder if I take it out of the box will it work, but I don't think so. That's why I have two more wires, so I'll just try a second one in a minute.
Hmm.
It's like I know that the Pi is on because the light comes on and then the keyboard is on, but there's no display. So weird. And once again, that's just a me problem.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I don't think this is a common thing for everybody. Um, it's just me.
Yeah,
I might. Hmm?
maybe we shouldn't have plugged out the Raspberry Pi.
I know. I got too confident. I was like, okay, it was just that one day that it wasn't working, so now it's going to work. But no, I broke it. But it's all right. It's just being mean. So it's probably going to work later on tonight and make me mad. But it's okay.
So any other additional steps that and people have to do in order to make this work apart from connecting the cables, download the software and the modules and just do it?
Um, something that is
Because
really
I'm gonna literally try this and see if it works.
Yeah, you should. It's actually not too bad, especially if you have like a step-by-step type of tutorial, because like there are just some things I said I just had to kind of toy around with myself to figure it out, but it's not too bad. But there is one thing that most people who make a smart mirror do is that they build a case for it. So the mirror and the monitor itself would just stay put together, and you can
Makes
hide
sense.
the wires behind it and stuff. I honestly got too lazy to do it, so I never built a case. But I think that an additional step to look into would be building a case for it.
Yeah, I think that would make sense to get it attached and have the Pi also on attached on top of it.
Yeah, right.
So everything is there, and you can always see the smart mirror running.
Yeah, I might I might look into that too. I've been looking into a lot of things. I just haven't gone around to like playing around with them. But I wanted to make my own modules because I was looking at how people make filters like Instagram filters, Snapchat filters, and like they use Unity to do those. So then I thought that'd be really fun to like incorporate that on the mirror, and I wanted
Yes,
to try
definitely.
that. And
Yeah.
so I have here, yeah, right. And so another thing I got inspired by was that I went to Sephora the other day, the makeup store, And so they have these mirrors that they have when they do makeup, and they're touchscreen where you can kind of like change the color of it. So you can make like natural light, orange, or like white light, or like how bright and how dark. And I kind of wanted to recreate that with some LED lights that I have. Um, but I haven't gone around to that either. And then what else was it? Oh, I wanted to make it more like a vanity, so I just wanted to like put LED lights around it anyways. But there's a lot of cool things you could do with it.
And the Alexa integration or the smart voice integration.
Yeah, I would really like that because to get Spotify to work, I have to go on my phone or go on my computer or go on the PlayStation to like manually play the songs. But it'd be pretty cool to say, Alexa, play The Strokes, and then they'll just come up on the screen. So that'd be
Yeah.
pretty cool. There's a lot of cool things you can actually do with the Alexa integration. But yeah.
Yeah, so probably there are a lot of use cases for building a smart mirror for your home. It's not maybe just for a hobby, and it might be very useful in your day-to-day work, where you can have, list out, Alexa, list out my calendar for today, and you have
Yeah.
calendar meetings, list out my notes for today, and you can have the notes. So probably there are a lot of cool things that can be done with Alexa, and even with the touch screen. So there are a lot of levels, but for this one, at least you have a building blocks for building a basic smart mirror. So you have at least something on the screen, and you can position it, and then probably you can take it to the next level after this. So go step by step, and not just think of building something touch screen immediately with Alexa integration. So you have to build it step by step, and once you are done with this, probably then you can try out the next thing, then the next thing, then the next thing.
Mhm.
So there's a question like, generally, how long would it take to create if I have something beginner level experience in coding?
Mm, I think it'll probably take the same amount of time that it took me. So like in between 6 hours of a project. Um, Luckily, most of it is a lot of copy and paste and just reading documentation. So it's not that you have to necessarily go out of your way to create your own like Python script to get it to work. It's just that you would need to be a little bit more familiar with the shell or the terminal. But I don't think it'll take long at all for someone with not or someone with beginner coding skills.
Yeah, so that's pretty important thing to know here. That people have misconception like it's building a smart mirror is really tough, and that's what got clear today when Destiny told it's not tough. So you just have to get the right equipment. You just have to follow the docs, and you just have to do some of the tweakings that she have already mentioned in the stream couple of times, and you are pretty good to go. So probably you, if even if you are a beginner, you can do it. Even if you are expert, obviously then you can do it, but it's not rocket science that you are building a rocket. It's something that you just have to order the right things, and you have to connect the right, make the right connections, and then download the software, make it work, and the SSH working. So all these things are really good. And I mean, I and thank you, Ashila. I don't know I'm pronouncing your name right or not. So thank you, Sheila. You have been there, and you have been, asking a lot of good questions. I really have a strong feeling that you would make a smart mirror. So do reach out to Destiny or myself, because I'll be trying out that as well. If you have any doubts in that. So I mean, that was really cool. Anything else you want to add, Destiny, for the audience? Because there'll be a lot of folks who'll be watching it when it goes out live. I mean, the recording goes up. So anything else you want to tell the audience?
Um, I guess that I think it's really cool that this like particular project inspired like a lot of people to want to like dive into tech and learn more about tech and things like that. Because I guess tech is always kind of seen as very like you have to be super smart and just like born with that skill to like be into it and know how to like play around with it. But I guess that like now that there's like people are seeing themselves more as like not techie people per se, but more as like, oh, this is a hobby I can pick up. Um, I'm just really excited for more people to want to play around with Raspberry Pis or like play around to create their own smart mirror. And so when people get excited with like, oh, there's a module for like all the BART times. I can add that to my mirror so I'll never be late for the BART again. Like people get excited about tech now. So I think that's really cool. And like there's so much that you can do. And I think that if you were to just like play around with it yourself and like even if you don't know how to code, I think you can make your own modules just playing around with it. Because once you start playing around with it, you'll get more familiar with it, and then it won't look so scary anymore. You'll be able to build your own modules and just go above and beyond. So I think that's exciting.
Yeah, I mean that's really cool. Building a smart mirror is always, when people think, okay, I should do that. Like, so the first steps, baby steps you have to take, buy the Raspberry Pis and buy the right kit. And Raspberry Pis are becoming really popular these days for all sort of tech. And like people are building Kubernetes cluster out of it. I built that. So there are a lot of videos that I have posted and tutorials as well. So building a Raspberry Pi, a Kubernetes cluster, or using it for as your home lab, hosting your own website, or as a smart mirror, there are a lot of use cases. And you don't have to be extremely, I would say, technical, or you don't have to be a hardware. You don't have to have specific hardware knowledge for it, or specific networking knowledge for it, or super coding knowledge for it. Even with super basic things, you can just follow the documentation. There are tons of documentation, and even the raspberrypi.org itself has a very good docs. So just go over there and probably I hope this video helps you build a smart mirror in a pretty easy way, because clearing out this fact that it is not super difficult to build a smart mirror, like Destiny has already told you, and the whole process. So by hearing it, you must have seen, okay, it sounds a bit simple than what I was thinking. So that was the whole agenda. So you have to now know that it's not difficult to build a smart mirror, and you can build on your own. And there is another question from Greg. Do you have any other plans to develop the mirror more, or use the Raspberry Pi for another project?
I kind of want to develop the mirror more. Um, I had like a list of modules that I wanted to make myself that I just kind of haven't gotten around to. On top of how you mentioned the Alexa integration, I still want to do that. Um, I might look into touchscreen. I already have a lot of smudges on my mirror because I touch it a lot, so I think that touchscreen would make it worse. But I still want to use my Raspberry Pi for the mirror. If anything, I might just get another Raspberry Pi for another project. But yeah.
Okay, so maybe this you will get to see more of the Destiny smart mirror growing in future. Nice. Cool. So I learned a lot, and I myself has a confidence now. Like building a smart mirror is not a very big thing, and people can do it. And thank you for clearly explaining that it's not difficult and you can build it easily. Any closing remarks you want to thank the audience, maybe, or something like that?
Yeah, I do want to thank the audience. Thank you for watching. um, I guess I want to apologize that my like HDMI wire sucks, so we didn't get to see anything. But besides that, thank you.
Yeah, it happens, whenever there are live videos, the demo has to go wrong, else it's not a live stream.
Yeah,
You can see in the previous videos, demo do break, and it happens all the time. So it's not something new. The demo gods have this thing, like whenever you are doing something live, there is something that has to go wrong, else it's not a live stream.
yeah. I was
Uh,
hoping it wasn't going to happen, and then it did. But yeah, you're right. That's all right though.
yeah, it's fine, but you have built it and it's on Twitter, and maybe Destiny, I'll just post a link after the recording is up, and maybe Destiny can post another screenshot or another photo of her mirror working. So that's pretty fine, and thank you all for joining. And if you like the video, so this is one of the special kind of video that I have done. Usually on my channel, I do all the cloud native stuff, Kubernetes, and the cloud native things, and we go into deep dive technical sessions on that. But this was very interesting, and I thought that this would be super cool for people to build something. So that's why this is one of a different kind of stream that I did today. And but I'm very happy that I did it, and I learned something new, and you learned something new. But if you want to learn more of the cloud native things, then do subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends. And do share this video as well with your friends, because I want more smart mirrors to be built. Tag Destiny. Her Twitter handler is already there beside her name, and you can tag me as well, or maybe not. So because Destiny is the one who has made the mirror, so tag her and show that you have built something, and she has inspired you. That gives much more motivation to the person who built things. So thank you all for watching, and thank you Destiny for joining. Just stay on here for a moment, and I'll just close the live stream.
Okay.
And thank you people for joining. Bye, take care, and see you in the next stream.